Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This week we are starting a new series called Diesel History. This short film is about Caterpillar engines. Since Cat has been producing diesel engines for almost 90 years, we decided to split this into two videos. This first video covers the history of Cat engines pre-World War II, and our second video will cover Cat history after the war. Let's get started. Caterpillar is arguably the most famous and popular diesel engine brand in the world, but that wasn't always the case. In fact, Caterpillar didn't get into the diesel engine game until 1931, which was relatively late compared to the other engine builders of the time, like Atlas Engines, Benz of Mercedes-Benz fame, Buda Engine Company, and Coho Engines. The first Cat diesel engine was released in 1931 as an option for the Caterpillar 60 tractor. Thus, the Caterpillar Diesel 60 was created. However, the development of the Model D 9900 diesel power plant started as early as 1927. That's where our story begins. What's really important to understand about the change from gas to diesel at this point in time is the historical context. During the 1920s, the US was growing quickly into a world superpower. That was until the stock market crash of 1929 that sent the American economy into the Great Depression. Gas was expensive and hard to come by, but simpler fuel mixes like diesel derivatives and kerosene were much more common and cheaper. On top of that, diesel engines provided higher torque ratings at low RPM, which both increased fuel economy and also reduced wear and tear on engine components. For applications like logging, farming, and construction, diesel engines were the clear choice. Old Betsy was the nickname of the first Cat diesel engine. Commissioned by C.L. Best, one of the owners of Caterpillar tractors, in early 1928, the first prototype was developed and built by engineer G.A. Rosen. Rosen spent 2 years researching the best way to fit a diesel engine into Caterpillar's largest tractor of the time, the Model 60. He tried to fit a power plant from all the major engine builders of the time, Atlas, Benz, Buda, and Coho, but none were stout enough to power the tractor, yet small enough to fit in its frame. After more research, Rosen believed Caterpillar tractors could develop and build their own in-house diesel power plant. In January of 1930, initial engineering of Old Betsy was completed, and she was given the official serial number 1A14. Pre-combustion tests were completed by July 1930, and by October of 1931, the D9900 was introduced as the first Caterpillar diesel engine. The D9900 was an inline 4-cylinder power plant that developed a reported 63 horsepower. The D9900 displaced 1,090 cubic inches and weighed in at 5,175 pounds. When placed in a Model 60 tractor, the D9900 could pull an industry-leading 11,991 pounds. The special thing about the Diesel 60 was the combination of a powerful diesel engine with the revolutionary off-road capabilities of tracked tractors. This winning combination would be replicated by Cat for decades to come. Following the revolutionary but very rare Diesel 60, Caterpillar released an even larger tractor in early 1933. The Model 70 and Diesel 70 represented the largest tractors Caterpillar had ever built. At over 31,000 pounds, the Model 70 was over 7,000 pounds heavier than the Model 60. Caterpillar did not initially develop a larger power plant for the 70, and the D9900 turned out to be too small and finicky to power the Diesel 70 platform. Production of the Diesel 70 ceased in the fall of 1933, less than a year after it had begun. Only 51 Diesel 70 tractors were built, and they are still some of the most sought-after old iron ever. The D9900 family of motors also included two smaller power plants, the D6100 and D7700. The D6100 was a 3-cylinder version of the D9900 that powered the much smaller Model Diesel 35 and Diesel 40 tractors. The D7700 was a scaled-down 4-cylinder version of the D9900 that made around 50 horsepower or 66 kilowatts and powered the Diesel 50 tractor. Though the D9900 lived a short life in the Model 60 and 70, it was a foundation block on which Caterpillar would base the rest of their motors to come. After the poor performance of the Diesel 70, Caterpillar was eager to develop an even more powerful engine than the D9900 that could effectively utilize the new 70 frame. The answer came in the Model D11000. This all-new inline 6-cylinder unit developed a reported 75 horsepower or 100 kilowatts. The D11000 powered 70 tractor was renamed the Diesel 75. The Diesel 75 was a massive upgrade compared to its predecessor, but was produced until 1935. Another big stepping stone in the long history of Cat diesel motors was the D8800 and its smaller cousins, the D6600 and D4400. Both the D8800 and D6600 were released in 1935, and the D4400 was introduced a year later. This new series of engines increased the output of the first generation of Caterpillar diesel engines by a sizable amount without adding more weight to the power plant. With this new update to Cat's engines, a new series of tractors replaced the old 50, 60, 70, and so on models. The cause of this new naming structure, the RD series, is widely debated. Some say RD stands for Rudolph Diesel, the inventor of the diesel engine. Others say it stands for Roosevelt Diesel, a tip of the hat to the creator of the New Deal, which was funding a massive road expansion project in the US. Thousands of diesel Caterpillar tractors were being built every year to match the demand for heavy iron. However, the most likely explanation is that the moniker RD stands for Road District, which is what the state of Illinois, where Cat was based, called the different road systems. Caterpillar tractors maintained these road districts, thus the connection and the resulting RD models. It only took 2 years for Caterpillar to scrap the RD line and rename it to the D-Series, which is the same naming system they use today. Back to the D8800 engines. The D8800, a 4-cylinder power plant, replaced the D7700 and powered the RD7 up until it was replaced 20 years later by the D339. It produced 60 horsepower and is one of the longest-lasting early diesel engines by Caterpillar because of its reliability, stout power, and small displacement. The D6600 powered the very rare RD6 and was only produced in 1935. The even smaller D4400 was a 4-cylinder engine that powered the RD4 and then the D4 tractors after the names changed in late 1937. Like its bigger brother, the D8800, the D4400 provided great power, reliability, and efficiency with a small form factor. It stayed in production until 1947. Mentioned earlier, Caterpillar once again redid their naming system, and in 1938 they released the D4600 and D3400. The D4600 is one of the oddest and most mysterious engines in the Caterpillar lineup. The D4600 has 6 cylinders, but its displacement is much smaller than Cat's first 6-cylinder engine, the D11000. Why would Cat build a 6-cylinder motor for a smaller tractor when a 4-cylinder engine would have worked? We may never know. Regardless, the D4600 powered the number 12 grader, D5, and D6 tractors up until 1947. The D3400 was a downscaled 4-cylinder engine very similar to the aforementioned D4400. The D3400 powered the Cat D2 up until 1947. 1938, a very big year for Cat, also saw the release of 2 monster Cat engines, the D13000 and D17000. The D13000 was a larger D11000, but the first D17000 was new and very unique. The D17000 was the first diesel V8 ever produced by Cat. The D13000 and D17000 were made for marine use, but some tractors were retrofitted with the D13000 and D17000 engines. Both engines are very popular for generators today because of their simplicity and great power. There is an important break in time here, corresponding directly with World War II. Caterpillar played a huge role in the war and produced over 30,000 vehicles for the US and other Allied powers. During this time, innovation in diesel technology took a backseat to the production of reliable, easy-to-use tractors. And that wraps up part number 1 of the history of Cat diesel engines. Tune in next week for part number 2, in which we'll review the history of Cat engines post-World War II up until the modern day. If you're a 3406 or 6NZ fan, you'll definitely want to watch. Before you leave though, make sure you like this video, check out the other videos on our channel, and subscribe to the Jack's Chrome Shop YouTube. This show is made possible by our online chrome shop, Jack's Chrome Shop. JacksChromeShop.com is a great place to pick up chrome, lights, detail products, stacks, fenders, and much more. And if you use promo code YouTube, you save 15% on your first order. Drop by JacksChromeShop.com, use the promo code to get your 15% off, and help support our show by purchasing a Jack's Chrome Shop shirt in the apparel section. Meet us back here on Monday for the Jack and Dave Show, and check out the live podcast hosted by Jack and Dave on the Chrome and Steel Radio YouTube channel and Facebook. Until next time, I'm David from Jack's Chrome, and remember, if your rig don't shine, you don't know Jack.
roads, highways is a way of life for few and far between. It may not be